Ja, wie gesagt, hier in der Halle heute Abend Dead Can Dance. Wir haben ein bisschen bei ihrem Soundcheck reingeschaut und neben mir sitzt jetzt Brandon Perry von Dead Can Dance. Hello. I was just saying that we listened to your soundcheck today and it took, I think, about 5 hours. Is that, is it so difficult to put it all on stage, or is it just because you're a perfectionist?
It's two things really. One is, of course, perfectionism, but the other is the complexity of the amount of instruments we use. We use a wide range of instruments, and we have to sound check them all individually, and then we have to test the balance, the relative balance between the electric instruments and the acoustic instruments, and this takes time to do this.
Also Sie haben sehr viel Zeit für diesen Soundcheck gebraucht, 5 Stunden insgesamt. Und ich habe ihn gefragt, ob es so schwierig ist, das alles auf die Bühne zu bringen oder ob Sie Perfektionisten sind. Und Brandon sagte, Sie sind natürlich Perfektionisten und Sie benutzen so viele verschiedene Instrumente, sowohl akustische als auch elektrische, und Sie müssen irgendwie so die Balance natürlich austarieren, und das dauert eben eine Zeit lang. Your sound is like a symbiosis of classic and modern music, and I think, and people often compare you to the Cocteau Twins, who are on the same label with you, 4AD, and Le Mystère des Voix Bulgares. Your LP, The Serpent Egg, is a bit different to your old stuff.
Yes, it's a departure. I think for us a natural evolution, relating to our lives. Obviously, in the last year and a half, during the time we composed the music for this album, was one of much optimism and happiness for us, and also a degree of meditation and quietness and detachedness from things around us, and this, I think, is reflected in the music on this album. The evolution within the albums is related to the transition of the last 6 years in our lives, and even though it gives only limited clues as to our experiences in life, there's a general ambience that permeates the year to a year and a half of the creation of each record.
Also Sie haben ziemlich lange gebraucht für diese LP, 1 Jahr ungefähr. Und ich habe gesagt, Sie werden auch verglichen mit den Cocteau Twins oder den bulgarischen Frauenchören. Ihre neue LP, The Serpent's Egg, ist ziemlich anders als die LPs, die Sie vorher gemacht haben. Das ist Ihre 4. LP. Und er meinte, es reflektiert so die Zeit, in der Sie diese LP gemacht haben. Ihr Lebensgefühl, es hat viel mit Meditation zu tun und es lässt gewisse Schlüsse zu auf Ihren Lebensstil. You come from Australia and you moved to... Yeah, but Lisa comes from Australia. Yeah.
I lived there before.
Is it that Europe influences you in a way, that your music becomes more and more different?
Yes, obviously the environment is the greatest influence, and a lot of our music is based around European tradition of music, the traditions going back to the folk traditions, early folk music. I think we have an empathy with the music of Europe, being Caucasians and Europeans by background. It comes easier, I think. It's something inherited in a way. I think for us to do music which is totally non-European in nature would be denying our roots in a way.
Then we get across. Okay. Lisa kommt aus Australien. Brandon hat auch 4 Jahre in Australien gelebt, und ich habe gefragt, ob Europa ihre Musik beeinflusst. Und er sagt, natürlich, wenn man verneinen würde, dass man europäische Musik macht, was sie auch tun, dann würde man irgendwie so seine Wurzeln verneinen. Und sie haben ziemlich viel zu tun auch mit der Geschichte der europäischen Musik, zum Beispiel Folk-Traditionen und so weiter nehmen sie auf. When listening to your music, words like mystery, magic, dream, and the subconscious come up to my mind. Is it Is it your approach to music, maybe religion, for example?
Well, I think it's the feeling of a religious quality rather than a dogmatic existing religion in the world. I think it's difficult talking about religion because generally I tend to think of in universal terms, in terms of what is good in my understanding of the nature of this earth and the human condition. Is something I respond to the wonder of nature and the mystery of nature, and trying to understand the essence.
You're creating special atmospheres, special moods with your music. Is it, do you think it needs people to be in a special mood when listening to your music? Maybe special people? Is there an invisible wire maybe between you and your audience?
It's invisible by nature, by virtue of the fact that music is a intangible element in this sense. In terms of a connection, I can't really answer that because it's something to be answered by yourself and others who listen to our music. But our intention is purely to communicate our feelings through this medium, because we feel that through music we can far easily express our ideas, and it is simply this.
Wollen wir das mal zusammenfassen? Also durch Musik, sagen Sie, ist es Ihre Absicht, Ihre Gefühle natürlich rüberzubringen, Ihre Ideen. Ich habe auch vorhin gefragt, ob das Ganze irgendwas mit Mystik, mit Religion und so weiter zusammenhängt. Und Brandon sagt irgendwie schon, nicht diese ganz normale, also nicht dogmatisch, sondern einfach gefühlsmäßig versuchen Sie das rüberzubringen. One last question. You recently were in Spain and you worked on a film by Agustin Villaronga, and I think Lisa played one of the main roles. What was working on this film like? Because when I first listened to your stuff, I thought, wow, that could be a great soundtrack.
Oh, it was a fantastic experience. For us, it showed us a completely different approach to music, and I think it will help us to our creative process increase very much, because we had to work in a very subjective manner with a visual medium which we were totally unfamiliar with before, and searching for an exact essence with the help of the director, Agustin, to find something which will be a perfect marriage to help the film, to give it the necessary ambience and intention that was needed. And for us, this was an incredible educational process, and has changed our working process, has shown us different ways of working that we will probably adopt and see what comes from this.
Also Brandon meint, sie haben sehr viel gelernt dadurch, dass sie einen Film gemacht haben. Und zwar war das ein Film in Spanien mit dem Regisseur Agustin Villaronga. Lisa hat sogar die Hauptrolle dabei gespielt. Und er sagt, durch diesen Film haben sie ganz verschiedene Möglichkeiten kennengelernt zu arbeiten, weil sie sowas eben vorher noch nie gemacht haben. Well, another last question. Again, you're on tour right now, and what experiences have you made? Do you manage to bring over your atmosphere to the people? Does that work?
I think so, but it's a much more intimate relationship, I think, than even on a record. It's different. They're two completely different elements, and for us, it's very important to play for people in a live sense, because it's the only opportunity we have of being able to understand the actual relationship between ourselves and an audience. Producing records and releasing records, you have no idea of what people are buying them, and it's impossible to communicate with them except through letters, which is not a fantastic means of communication, and playing live concerts gives us a greater idea and a greater sense of purpose for what we're doing. We need the some human contact.
Sie brauchen menschlichen Kontakt. Ich habe ihn gefragt, ob Sie die Atmosphäre, die Sie auf Ihren Platten den Leuten rüberbringen, ob Sie die auch in einem Konzert rüberbringen können. Das ist ja manchmal nicht ganz einfach, und er meint, er glaubt schon. Es ist eine ganz andere Beziehung, die man zum Publikum hat, als wenn man halt eine Platte rausbringt. Da kann man sich eben nur per Brief verständigen. Bei einem Konzert ist es eben sehr wichtig, und es ist irgendwie eine intimere Beziehung zu den Leuten. Brandon, thank you very much for the interview, and I wish you much fun tonight.
Thank you very much.